right, we'll call the meeting back to order. I want to thank Ray and Superintendent for taking us, and John for taking us for a walk around the facilities and showing us some of the positive things that they were able to accomplish over the summer. I know there was some issues that the building inspector brought out. We've talked about those, and hopefully we're going to be able to build a plan around addressing those issues going forward. But it was a nice walk around the facility. There was some also, Tim had mentioned that he's working with the veterans to get the...
Yes, Mr. Jablonski.
Yep.
Yes.
What's his name?
This is Joe Jablonski.
Joe Jablonski, to make sure that we have American flags in each of the classrooms. So we want to thank Mr. Jablonski for his assistance with that, and looking forward to a good school year going forward. There are some things that were pointed out that seem to be deficits that are caused by occupation. And so we just ask that the folks who work here, the kids who come here, be respectful of the facility, because it's your mom and dad's or my tax money, everybody's tax money comes into fixing this facility. So we're trying to give you the best environment in which to work and to come to school. And so we'd ask for your cooperation in that. Hopefully we can all work together to make sure that this facility meets your standards, meets our standards going forward. We've done the call the meeting to order, and we've done the Pledge of Allegiance at 5 o'clock when we started the meeting. Do we have any recognition, Mr. Superintendent?
Yes. Well, first off, thank you and welcome back, everybody, after hopefully, which was an enjoyable summer. As Ron already mentioned, I want to just, again, give a shout out to Ray and the custodial staff. I know we've looked at some areas that we want to continue to work on, but they did a lot of great work this summer, making sure the two buildings were cleaned thoroughly, and the classrooms ready to go. Yeah, as you also know, the grounds here in North Brookfield are quite extensive, and I think they do a very good job of making sure they look, the curb appeals there, plus our athletic fields are where they should be. So again, Ray, thank you to your entire team, George, BJ, Andre, Andrew, Nick, Pete, the whole team. So thank you again. I want to also just mention and thank our ESY, extended school year teachers and support staff, who for a little over a month from early July to early August ran the ESY program at the elementary school. It was overall a fantastic program. This summer was very smooth sailing for that group, and I think our students received a lot of personalized instruction and really put some barriers up to recession for some of our students. So we're very happy with the work that they did. I want to also give a shout out to Donna Holmes for her work over the summer. As you may recall, back in July, I sent out a newsletter. Because of Donna's work at the time, we were able to procure free breakfast and lunch for all of our students for this year. Since that date, the state has now done that across the state. So, everybody will now have free breakfast and lunch, which is a great thing. It's, again, moving obstacles for students and student learning. But Donna was kind of at the forefront of that, and she had already established that for the school before the state even got to that point. So thank you, Donna, for all your hard work. And last but not least, I just want to thank our administration and central office staff, Cindy Schofield, Angenetti, John Burio, Sarah Priestley for all their efforts this summer. I know that admin works over the summer, but we got a lot accomplished for this coming school year, and it's open to their hard work. So thank you to all those groups and those individuals, and I think that we are ready to go for tomorrow. We had 2 great days of PD on Monday and Tuesday, and ready to welcome back our students on Wednesday.
Any questions? Moving on to the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the minutes previous meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
The only discussion I have is I think Tanya's name is spelled wrong in like the very last entry. So I don't know if it's worth
Well,
going
thank
back.
you for noticing.
I think it was there. Maybe it was.
Was it with an A?
Oh, yes, yeah, number 18,
Yeah.
T-U-N-Y-H-A.
Oh,
Yep.
AJ. I don't know, Megan.
That's just, I'm just showing that I read them.
Yeah,
Not
that's,
getting Slater, go.
all right, so can I take a friendly amendment that we accept the motions as corrected? That would be from you.
I'll move that. I don't even need to correct it that badly. I think everyone knows who Tanya is.
I know, but we should probably have. it
Yes,
right.
I will make that friendly amendment to my motion.
Okay, with the friendly amendment, are there any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Fine.
Okay. Correspondence, do we have any correspondence, Mrs. Superintendent?
No, this time, no.
Other than the one that we'll take up under executive session? Okay. Presentations, there's no presentations?
No.
Any public participation on non-agenda items, there's no public, so, okay. I mean, on agenda items, I'm sorry, I apologize. School committee reports, any school committee reports? The only report I would give is, again, thank you to all the people who worked so hard over the summer to make the school look so good. I was up here probably about a week or so ago, and there were still several items that were sorely lacking, and I could see the difference in just the week's worth of work. And you know, I overheard conversations from the custodial staff about making sure that certain things were done in a certain order to make sure that the schools were kept clean through the process. And I want to acknowledge their personal attention to those items, because that just shows how much they care about our schools and our buildings and our facilities. And so I want to thank them, not only personally, but also from the committee. We really do appreciate all the hard work, you know, especially during the summer when it's warm and all that. I know so much easier to go out, do something other than that. We appreciate the fact that you put those hours in and make this place look as good as you did for the beginning of school, so thank you. Finance report.
If I just may add one thing, I didn't mention Dave Petrumis' name earlier, and Dave is one of our custodians, and he does a fantastic job, so I want to leave Dave out.
No?
Financial reports, so again, I've attached the copies of the warrants that you've all signed, and also our first kind of financial report for the fiscal year FY24, which, as you look at it, it's pretty slim right now. We just started the school year back in July, or the financial year back in July. But we will continue to give you updates like we did last year on a monthly basis, making sure that you are up to speed where we are with our line items.
So there are no other transfers that need to be made so that we could end the year?
Not at this time, no.
No, I'm saying to end last year.
I'd have to ask Ms. Schofield. I know we had talked about a few, but I don't think, I'll have to look and see if we can add those on the next agenda.
Yeah, so for the next meeting, it'd be nice to see
Sure.
where we ended, if there were any other transfers that needed to be made in order to make sure that our books came out right.
There were some, so I will make sure that we have an update on those for the next meeting.
Yeah, because we have to process those. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I scrolled down. Superintendent's report.
All right, so first on the list, I want to welcome Mr. John Diorio, our new junior senior high school principal. John is a veteran administrator who has been a building principal in Brookfield Middle School most recently. He's worked in Palmer, he's worked in Springfield and Pittsburgh. And one of the things that stuck out about Mr. Diorio during the hiring process is just his enthusiasm and what he brings to the table as far as passion for our students and our faculty. So John has really hit the ground running this summer. He had a great first 2 days of PD with the high school staff, middle high school staff these past 2 days. And I really am excited about what's going on in high school. John also has a very keen eye for data and is a very skilled evaluator. So I think we're going to do some great things this year with John at the helm of the high school. On August 23rd and 24th, we had our new teacher orientation. This is something that Brookfield has done for a very long time. This year, Kurt Stanley was the mentor coordinator for this endeavor. We had 10 new staff members who took part in this 2-day orientation. And it's kind of a, lack of a better term, a soup to nuts kind of overall sense of what Brookfield's about, kind of how you do things on a day-to-day basis, but also it drills down into the teaching and instruction of our students. So we talk about best practices as well for our new teachers. So we were very happy with those first 2 days, and those teachers obviously were part of our opening day convocation on Monday and our PD on Tuesday, today. Today we had our pre-K and kindergarten orientation at 12:30 to 1:30 in the elementary school, so we had a lot of very happy parents and pre-K and kindergarten students who got to see their classrooms, meet their teachers, see their classmates. So that's always a nice way. It's nice to greet our youngest students into the buildings and see kind of their faces light up as they see their first classrooms. As I mentioned already, we're going to have free breakfast and lunch for the entire 23-24 school year. That's a statewide mandate now, but it was before that. Dun Holmes did a lot of work to make sure that was happening reality for North Brookfield. Transportation, just an update, we are still with our 3 bus routes for the town of North Brookfield. As you may recall, last year we went from 4 to 3, and it was a fairly smooth transition overall. We still have vans that run throughout the district to support other students as well. But tomorrow, again, we have the first day that our buses will be running, and we got the schedule out to parents early last week. I know that AA has been working with families to rectify a few issues here and there, but as things come up, next couple of days, we'll work with AA to make things better. Sometimes I will say that it takes a week or two for those times to catch up. Sometimes the buses will be a little late or a little bit early. And I know that's frustrating for parents, I understand fully, but it does take a few days sometimes to work out some of those kinks. But Pam, who is our kind of direct person at AA, does a great job of making our bus routes work. So I know that she will be diligent with any corrections that need to be made. As I mentioned, we had our first 2 days of full day PD, Monday and Tuesday. We started the day on Monday morning in the auditorium where we met with all 102 staff members. We did recognitions. We talked about the year as far as our professional development. We talked about what we've done over the last 6 months to kind of build up North Brookfield School District as far as programming for our students. And we talked about what we're going to do this year with our teaching staff. So very well received. I think that our teachers are very excited to work also within their buildings, and the 2 building principals had some fantastic PD for the first 2 days for their entire staff. As I mentioned, kindergarten through 12 students will begin tomorrow. Our pre-K students will begin on Thursday. I just want to update the committee on some updates or some changes that we've made over the last few months over the summer. We have changed our webpage, which we'll be phasing in over the next couple weeks, a company called Edleo. And the one thing that really drew us to this company is that the webpage is much more user-friendly, but there's also a family app that you can download that the communication is much easier for families and students to access. Sometimes when you try to look at a webpage on your phone, it just doesn't work right. So this will alleviate some of those issues. As I mentioned already, back in June, we were awarded the Project Lead the Way grant, which is a STEM education grant. Mr. Zippin was trained in 2 courses over the summer, design and modeling and automation and robotics. And as I showed you on the quick tour earlier today, we have turned our middle school computer lab into a robotics lab. And that's where grades 6 through 12 will be accessing a robotics curriculum taught by Mr. Zippin. So again, this is kind of phase 1 in building a pathway for our students in STEM education. And like I said, Mr. Jory and I've been talking about this quite a bit over the summer, and this is one of our priorities for this building. We are in our first full year with both Illustrative and Bridges math curriculum, which are offered K through 12. So we'll be continuing to roll those out for all of our students, and our staff now has had at least 4 or 5 months working with these 2 curriculums, and this will be how we move forward with our math instruction over the next several years. We're also phasing our piloting Wit and Wisdom, which is an ELA curriculum for grade 3, and Into Reading for grade 4. We are also starting this fall our Champions AM/PM program, which we discussed last spring. That program we felt is a much more robust program for our students after school. There are extended hours, and there's more instruction for our students as well. And a few more things I just want to touch upon. We are phasing in a new student information system for 24-25. We have been using a company for the past several years, which is really on its last legs as far as usability. And we've been researching this for about 4 or 5 months now. And we landed on a company called Alma, and we met with them again today to discuss some of their their programming, and we're very excited to bring them on, not this year, but the following year. But what we will do is we'll start to teach our staff, our support staff, how to access and use it throughout the course of this year. So there's a very minimal learning curve when we do phase it in for 24-25. And we are also utilizing Infinite Visions, which is the electronic kind of financial system that we use in the town. There's a component to that lets us track staff attendance electronically. Up until right now, we've been using paper and pencil. We track it that way, but it's an integrated system. So we're going electronic with that this year. We had a PD for our staff this morning on how to navigate that. So that was in large part to the work of Cindy Schofield and Justin Hackins over the summer of really prepping and getting that up and running for all of our staff members. One more thing I'd like to add, and I will talk about this briefly. I did offer, and the person accepted, position of special ed director. I will just pause with any more details at this point, because the contract will be in my hands on Thursday. So I want to just give a little pause on saying who that person is and where they're coming from until I receive that contract. But I want to again thank the admin team for being part of those interviews. But I think we found a very viable candidate that I'm very happy with to move our special ed department forward. And last but not least, the last thing I want to touch upon, which I did talk about with the staff, in the next couple of weeks, I'll be sending out a letter to families and all stakeholders in the community about our strategic planning initiative, which we're going to begin in late September. And what this initiative does for the district is it looks at our mission, our vision, and helps us frame our goals for the next 3 or 4 years. And we look at all components of our school life. And what we hope to do in the near future is to then present to the school committee our new plan with members of that stakeholder team to kind of show you where we're headed as far as instruction and learning for our students.
So I appreciate your report, thank you. I think the special ed director is one of those positions that has to come before the school committee for approval. So I appreciate it if you make sure that comes to us before the contract is actually finalized, because we need to, it's the only other one besides yourself, I believe, that has to come to the committee before.
I believe
You can double check.
you and I spoke about that briefly, and
Yeah.
we could talk if you like. I think we talked about that. You wanted me to find somebody, and then
No, I did, but
Okay.
I'm just saying before the contract's approved, because
Okay.
I think it's the only other position that the committee has to actually weigh in on. So if you could just do that.
what would you like me to do exactly?
Well, I'd like you to just, I believe that's true. I could be wrong, so maybe double check with NASAC and just make sure that I'm correct. And if so, then maybe we need to schedule a special meeting so we can get together and be introduced to the individual and approve that position prior to us signing that contract to make sure that,
Okay.
I don't want to do anything that's going to not follow the rule, right? So, I mean, if the rule is that it has to come in here for approval, then I want to make sure we're doing that before the contract is actually signed. That's all. I believe I'm right on that, but I could be wrong. I don't live this job every day, right? So you know better than I, but just check with NASAC and make sure that we're doing it according to what the rules are. That's all. But I appreciate your report, thank you. We're on administrator's reports. I'm sorry, unless there's questions. I apologize, I jumped the gun.
I'm so sorry. Thank you. Go ahead, Tanya.
So, I had heard that this new math program doesn't teach multiplication tables. I just wanted to get verification for the town on that. Ron, can you move back a little bit? Thank you.
Which one are you referring to?
This
Bridges
new
or
math
what?
program, well, what's multiplication tables in what grade? So like, what grade? Long time, that's enough memories.
I don't know that to be true. I could ask, I could get some more clarification on that, but I don't think that's accurate, but
Okay.
I can get back to that.
And then on your list of teachers, you don't have anyone for 6th grade except ELAs and social studies?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Your list of teachers that you had in the prep for the meeting, there's no names near grade 6 math and science teacher. And there's also no name for the special education teacher.
I'm sorry, what are you looking at right now?
The document that you sent to us to review that had the handbook in it.
Give
and-
it a page number.
Page number is 29 on the, not the page of the document, but the page in the, let's see, what am I looking at?
We may, I think, Tanya, I think we may have hired those people after I sent that to you.
Okay. I'm not sure. So do you have people for sixth grade?
Yes, we do.
And do you have a special education teacher?
We moved over one from the high school to the elementary school. We're in the process of interviewing another person on Thursday for one of the openings.
How do I find out what grade that you have an open space for?
Well, technically, we still have two openings that are posted for special education teachers.
Yeah.
We moved over one teacher from the high school to the elementary school. We'd like to still fill those two and bring that person back to the high school.
So what position is the high school teacher filling in the elementary? The
Um,
two positions or just?
No,
one of
just
those?
one. If you recall, last year we had a resignation back in December, which we never filled. We couldn't find anybody.
Mhm.
And then we had another resignation over the summer, which we have not been able to fill yet as well. So we moved that high school staff member down to the elementary school to fill one of those two. We'd like to fill both those positions and move that person back to the high school.
How do I find out what age group is going to be covered and which one's not?
I don't know the answer to that right now. I think right now it's K through 3
Is
is covered by the person coming down from the high school.
Okay.
But I'm not positive off the top of my head.
Are there any other questions?
I have one other question. I know last year we had some transition, we went from 4 buses to 3 buses. If someone has questions about busing, who should they, what's the best way for them to reach out? Do they reach out?
They can reach out to me
transportation
or they can reach out
officer?
to Pam and AA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and what I usually do is I call Pam if I have a question from the phone number.
Okay.
And she gives me clarification.
So you're okay if they reach out to
I
to
am,
the
I
bus
am.
company?
Yeah, usually I call her.
I got a few questions about that last year, so in case I'm asked.
That new webpage and app, is that replacing Class Dojo?
No,
No?
no, it's not.
Okay. So is this completely new?
This is completely new. So if you look at our webpage, I think you would agree it's a little bit antiquated. It's not where it could be. So we have something that's a little bit, I think, a much more aesthetically pleasing. It's much easier to navigate, and the other part of it is that app that you can download and really you have access all the time.
And the student information system, is that like just like grade tracking transcripts?
Yeah, that's how we track grades. That's how we track absenteeism for students. That's how we track discipline. So that's an important piece of software, and that's how our building principals, myself, special ed director, how we look at data across the district as well. We use that as a major data tool to inform our teachers, to inform our families. So we need something that is current, something that is user-friendly, and something that we can rely on. And our current program is not where it could be.
Any questions? Moving on to administrator's report, ready movement for a walk around the building with you. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to the document that you gave us, or anything else you wanted to share with us while we're here?
Not at the moment, no.
Justin, we have your report as well. Is there anything that you want to highlight in your report, or do you want to bring to our attention while you're here?
Sure, I did a few things over the summer that I can speak to it. Other than switching over from one website to a new one, which we haven't gotten yet, as Tim was talking about. I'll be meeting with the project manager this Thursday about it, and then we'll get that ball rolling. Other than that, and the new SIS, iPad's been updated, Chromebooks have been updated, 5 new Epson projectors have been ordered. I've installed 3 of them. Extra Chromebook chargers have been ordered for those that have been lost and damaged. A digital employee access for time off requests. We'll be replacing paper this year. All 7 Xerox machines that we have throughout the district have been replaced with new ones. digital report cards. We'll be replacing paper cards this year. What else? Chromebooks for 7th grade have already been distributed. And we are also in the process of hopefully updating our camera system, but that might fall down a little bit towards the end, towards probably winter.
Do the Sun Xerox machines, were those leased or purchased?
They're leased.
The ones we replaced were leased as well?
Yes, they've taken those back, so we don't own those anymore.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I guess that leaves nobody else but,
I have a
unless...
question.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When you said that the 7th graders have Chromebooks, do all students have Chromebooks?
Not yet. I will be distributing,
So this is new this year?
I distribute 7th grade Chromebooks during 7th grade orientation, which happened on Friday. I do those first because since they're new, we don't have one-to-one over at the elementary school. They do it by cart, so whenever 7th graders come over here earlier than everyone else, I get a little bit of a jump start on that, so that they know what they're walking into day one, so they're not as confused.
So did last year's get a Chromebook? I should.
Last year, 7th graders did.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So the high schoolers all have Chromebooks?
The high schoolers submitted theirs in at the end of the year last year, and I will be distributing those out tomorrow.
Okay. I wasn't sure if they all had their own, but,
Not yet, they will tomorrow.
all right.
John, you're up. Unless anybody else has a question. Go ahead, John, you're done again. It's all you, John.
All right, thank you. Well, we're looking forward to a great year here at North Brookfield Junior Senior High School. As Tim mentioned, today we wrapped up 2 great days of PD with the staff. We discussed school-wide expectations and instructional practices. You can actually see some of the work we did as we come up with our school motto, kind of our slogan that we're going to use to promote our school. So we have those up that we worked on today. Tomorrow we welcome back our students. We're going to have a school assembly. So the students are going to report down to the gym, and we start our day with the school assembly, a whole school assembly, before the students go to their first period of class. And the staff has been working hard. I think you saw as we walked around today, so there's still staff in the building working on their classes. The classrooms look great. Again, thank you to Ray for everything he did to get the school ready. I came from a school that was almost 100 years old previous to this. And as I mentioned earlier, this is just a beautiful school. The facilities here are great, so I'm really looking forward to working here in this facility. We had our 7th grade orientation Friday, August 25th. Where just about all our 7th graders showed up. I think we had about 90% of our 7th graders were here. It was student council and Mrs. Malone presented. They did a tour. Justin gave out their Chromebooks. They played some games, did some team bonding, so it was really a nice thing that we do here. We also had our first parent meeting of the year. And I was pleasantly surprised. We had over 28 family members here for our parent meeting. So that was great to see that. And I think the parent meetings, one thing I'm looking forward to doing is I've heard so much about the community here and the pride that's in this community is really looking forward to building up that community within our school with the parents and the families, our students and our staff. Also this year we're looking to start a Best Buddies program and Unified Sports here at our junior senior high school. If you don't know, Unified Sports is a great thing that works with our special education students. And our Best Buddies, we are going to partner up with the elementary school and do some things with those students down there. Unified Sports also, we have bocce balls, basketball, and track, and so we're looking forward to getting that started as well. Other than that, the school is ready. We're looking forward to a great year and anxious to get started.
Any questions for John? I'm gonna yell at. Welcome. Yes, welcome. Tim, do you have anything from Sarah that you want to point out? We have her report, but is there anything that you?
Not really. I mean, if you guys have any questions, I could probably answer them.
Are there any questions on Sarah's report? Okay, moving along. Old business, regionalization update. Do you want
Want me to do that or you want to do that?
It's up to you.
I will just say that after a 5 or 6 month hiatus from the process, we started meeting again. I think we've had 2 or 3 meetings since June. I don't know if there's another meeting on the books as of yet.
There is not.
Okay. I know that when we left off, we were looking at the utilization agreement, making sure that it was equitable for North Brookfield, so we had council take a look at it, give us some feedback. So we're working with council to kind of review some of his feedback and then go back to the whole overall committee.
Right, so there's a meeting scheduled, at least tentatively, as far as I know, for the end of this coming week, to review the edits that school council has suggested for the proposed regionalization agreement. I think it's necessary because there's a significant number of edits that are suggested. And if the committee members for North Brookfield's regionalization committee are expected to talk to them, I think we need to understand more fully why those changes are being recommended and how that is in the best interest of North Brookfield. They all seem very reasonable to me. It just seems strange that there are that many based off of the fact that this has been with the regionalization committee council for so long, and we still had all these changes that need to be done. So I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything, or the rest of the team's not missing anything. Once we've done that, we will reach out to the committee chair for the whole regionalization committee and schedule the next meeting. I believe all the members of this committee have seen that document, had a chance to review it. If you have any questions on it, feel free to reach back to me and let me know. So that's the regionalization upgrade update as I have it. Are there any questions? There is nothing under policy. Under new business, we have the student handbook for approval for this year. Can I have a motion on the floor to approve the handbook?
We'll move to approve the student handbook.
May I have a second?
I second.
Are there any questions? Having no questions, all in favor?
I did appreciate the high-level summary, so I knew where to go look for the changes. That was helpful.
Yeah. So, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Approval of Valley View School curriculum is the second item under new business. Can I have a motion to approve the Valley View School curriculum?
I move to approve the Valley View School curriculum.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor? Okay. Having no other business in open session, can I have a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of, I lost it, sorry, hold on one second. To discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body. Can I have that motion?
I move that motion.
Can I have a second?
I'll second, but do we need to amend it so that we're coming back?
With the, yep, thank you. I'm sorry, I did not finish that. So the motion is to go into executive session for the discussion of strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body, with the expectation we will come back solely for the purpose of adjourning the open session. Now,
So moved.
second,
Second.
this is a roll call vote, so Mr. Canada,
From Canada, yes.
Mr. Nigel,
John Gario,
I'm
yes.
Garrett, sorry, Jesus, I'm sorry.
It's butchered all the time.
Dan,
Yes.
Tanya,
Tanya Matthews, yes.
Martin O'Reilly, yes. Okay, we're in executive session. Thank you all for coming.